this is based on averages. So think of it
No,
like
that was per week.
Yeah, no, you could average it on maybe like $100,000 mortgage. Remember, average mortgages across the country are much lower than they are here.
Sure.
So these are a way of quantifying the numbers. Now, currently, we're at the biggest gap we've seen in almost 20 years. Where on average, you can rent a home for $719 a month, and your average holding cost is $536.
And $700 for renting isn't a huge amount.
No.
But in comparison, the owning of the homes, because the prices have gone down and the rates have come down.
Correct.
So that's saying that if you have a house, you would pay less owning it than you would if you had to rent it.
Are you considering the real estate tax breaks too, or
Yeah, that taxes depreciation on investors or the home mortgage deduction.
okay? I wonder what tax bracket they're considering.
Pretty low.
And I guess the interest rate factors into that, right? Because I'm looking, we were looking at that graph off the air, which of course our radio audience cannot see, but the graph shows literally the biggest gap in favor of home ownership going back 20 years. And I think it's, kind of obvious. I mean, rents have gone up like crazy everywhere, and yet the cost of home ownership right now, I mean, if you can buy a home, right, you can get a great interest rate and great pricing.
And that's strictly a supply and demand with the renting, isn't it?
It's supply and demand with the renting. A lot of the people that are renting were homeowners who put nothing down, lost their homes, and so there's a higher demand for rental property. And fewer people can qualify to buy.
Robert's more of an expert on this than I am, but I think these are mortgages that average under the $417,000 threshold.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are really the low rates. I mean, you have a high, like we talked about FICO score. If you have a really good FICO score and you're refinancing under 417, you can get a great deal right now, right, Robert?
It's just unbelievable. You can get a 30-year fixed mortgage for 3.5% with no points.
Did it go down again this week?
Well, the 10 years at a buck and a half.
And there's not a lot of indication that it's heading upward, especially this year. It's not in an election year.
No, unemployment's still
probably
high.
not even after that.
Well, it's scary to look, from my world. I know it's a little different than yours, but both the interest rate and the euro have dropped about the same amount this year. They're down about 8%.
Yes.
If you look at the pure yield, I'm not talking about the value of the bonds, but just the yield, how it's dropped so much. From 1.75 to 1.50, then you have the euros down at $1.22 right now.
Well, partly,
confidence.
for the United States, there's not too much else out there that's safe to invest, and so that's why a lot of money's coming into dollars, right?
Yeah, where else are you going to go? You're
Exactly.
not going to buy Syrian bonds right now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like when I took a plane, they said, "Yeah, we're going to do a stopover in Beirut." No, I don't think so. Okay. Anything else, Mark?
Well, no, I'm just amazed that the mortgage rates keep dropping, and everyone I know who's in the mortgage loan business right now, all they're doing is refi, and it's interesting that the home sales have really tightened up most recently because there's the inventory, the banks aren't releasing as much inventory. We've talked about that quite a bit in previous weeks. There's not a lot of new foreclosure or REO inventory hitting the market, and in terms of retail sales, so many people are underwater that they just can't put their home on the market and sell it right now. So it's really it's an interesting market we're in right now.
Well, oddly enough, I think the percentage of sales that are short sales has decreased recently. So that I don't know if people are now above water and able to get out, but there's more people just selling their homes who had equity. But there's the amount of foreclosure sales and short sales is not as great as it was a year or two ago.
Well, although
which is a healthy sign.
We had a guest, though, it was last week, that was telling us that he thought short sales were going to actually increase, that banks were starting to make it the process of short selling streamlined. So again, those of us who are real estate investors are hoping that that's true, because we would really like to see more inventory on the market.
With Kamala Harris's new money that she's got for California, that now the banks in California can't foreclose if the people are applying for modification. So that would slow down the process.
A lot of new regulations are going to muck things up even more.
You guys ready?
Stay tuned.
Okay. Thoughts for the day. Remember, dyslexic learners are teeple poo. Don't forget. And life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away.
Oh, that's very
Oh,
sweet.
brother, who wrote that savvy thought? No, just kidding. I like that. That actually sounds.
That is nice.
That sounds like something the Wizard of Oz would have told the Tin Man.
A Zen moment on Best of Investing.
That's right. And with that, tune in next week to the Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away 9 more free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long.
Excellent.